So the Chiefs are heating up at just the right time, and honestly, I'm not sure who's going to be able to stop them this season. This goes way beyond the play of the day, by the way, which was honestly one of the most unexpected things I've ever seen, but the O-line is going to be better than possibly ever for several reasons I'll get into in today's video, and that's not all. A rookie is quickly climbing the ranks, Mahomes has been on fire day in and day out, and there's several other key takeaways from today's practice, so let's talk about it. But first, how about those? Alright, day 11 of Chiefs training camp was a lighter day of practice, no pads, and featured a cycling of 10 minutes of offense, defense, and special teams. A 10-10-10 day, if you will. It is a bit of a glorified walkthrough, but even with that being said, there was a bunch of plays made and still plenty of contact happening during this practice. We'll definitely get into all of it, and the pads will then come back on Tuesday. There's a day off tomorrow, and then their first preseason game is Saturday night at 7 p.m. against the Arizona Cardinals. One player who's been out for a few days did return today, albeit in a limited capacity, with that being wide receiver Sky Moore. He could be seen with a compression sleeve on his leg, and during the team period, he was working on the sideline with athletic trainers and running sprints. So he is at least progressing, with Andy Reid saying they are ramping his workload back up, and honestly, that guy's got to get back out there as soon as humanly possible so he can stack up a bunch of good days if he wants to remain on this roster, and even with that, I don't know if it's going to be enough. I don't mean to be disrespectful here. I'm just not sure how Sky Moore cracks this wide receiver room unless some crazy injury ends up happening to more than one player. Basically, right now, to me, it's Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster, Jalen Royals, and Nico Remigio as my 6, but if they roll with 7, it's Tyquan Thornton out there, and he has definitely earned it. With that being said, I think Rashee Rice starts out suspended and the entire room shifts up one spot, with both Nico Remigio making it as the returner as well as Tyquan Thornton. So maybe Sky will be a trade candidate, working in with Minshew quite a bit during preseason games, and KC's able to move on from him for a conditional 6th or 7th round pick in exchange. It's something at least. I know he was a 2nd round pick and it didn't really pan out. But right now, I'm not sure Sky makes the roster, and I'm sure most of you don't either. Anyway, those who did not practice today were as follows. Wide receiver Hollywood Brown, ankle. Tight ends Jared Wiley, knee, and Jake Brenningstool, hamstring. Linebacker Drew Tranquill, back. Cornerback Christian Fulton, still on the PUP list with the knee. And safety Deion Bush, hamstring. We didn't know the extent of Wiley's injury yesterday, though my assumption was knee-related, as he's still working back from tearing his ACL last November. Well, Andy Reid confirmed today that there's swelling in his knee. They are watching that and have been trying to limit his reps and ease him in. But even with that, it started to swell up, so they needed to ease off a bit with him. I don't really love hearing that, but there's a reason why ACLs take up to a year to fully recover from. For many athletes, setbacks like this happen. I just hope that it's nothing too serious. Anyway, with both Wiley and Brenningstool out with hamstrings, Robert Tonyan, the 31-year-old vet, keeps stacking quality days. He had yet another one-handed grab from Mahomes today, and that's like the 3rd or 4th one-handed catch I've heard he's made at a camp practice. If Wiley is out for an extended amount of time, or there are some concerns from the coaching staff in the sense of how Wiley could look at the beginning of the season coming off of that ACL repair, I think Tonyan is making a legit case to make the initial 53-man roster. Andy Reid then shared that cornerback Christian Fulton should be available soon. That's some good news there. He started to run on that knee, so we'll see where it goes. That's what Andy Reid said, but it is a positive update on Fulton, who again had that knee cleanup procedure back in the spring, and I'm just glad he is progressing because he's missed a ton of valuable reps so far. Wide receiver Hollywood Brown, meanwhile, tweaked his ankle earlier this week, and Andy Reid said that he is making progress. Surgery will not be needed, but they want to make sure it's right. It's something in that ankle, so they are letting it heal up, and then they're going to go from there. And the way that Andy Reid talked about it today, the ankle seemed a bit more serious than a minor tweak. So we might not see Hollywood out there for a bit, but we still have roughly over a month until week 1 when the Chiefs take on the Chargers in Brazil. So hopefully he's ready by then. Now, with Christian Fulton sidelined this whole time, somebody that's climbing up the depth chart has been Nazeeh Johnson. He's rotating in more with the first-team offense, and that's allowed McDuffie to kick inside at times instead of having Chamari Connor there in the slot. Well, after recording 2 impressive pass breakups yesterday in coverage on Tyquan Thornton both times, Nazeeh made another one today, almost picking off this pass from Mahomes here that he tried to get to Xavier Worthy. That is the 4th pass breakup I've seen on camera from Nazeeh in the last handful of days, with the first one happening earlier on in the week in the red zone period against Travis Kelce. Now, another player working back from injury, it's not a big surprise here, he came off the PUP list last week, is offensive tackle Jawaan Taylor. However, I did learn a lot from him in his presser with the media, and my respect for him went up way more. So I've got to talk about that as well as some crazy plays from today's practice. But first, if you're looking for a premium fiberglass-free mattress designed to upgrade your sleep, improve your overall quality of life, and is also conveniently shipped to your door for free in the US, then look no further than to the longest active sponsor of the channel, Bear Mattress. You can head to bearmattress.com/HBTC and use my code HBTC to get 40% off your mattress. And here's why you should consider. My wife and I have had our Bear mattress for over 2 years now and enjoyed our sleep experience so much that both of our daughters also sleep on a Bear Cub mattress of their own. Then we even upgraded from our queen size elite hybrid mattress to a king because we have even more space in our new place, and my wife loves the extra room. It also helps that each mattress is created without the use of harmful chemicals, doesn't contain any fiberglass, which can be detrimental to your health, and if you tend to sleep hot, Bear's sleep recovery technology uses Celiant powered fabric to help you stay cool throughout the night. They make the whole experience super easy as well, having an online quiz that you can take to help find the best mattress for you based on your preferences and sleep positions. I sleep on my back and prefer a medium firmness to my mattress, but my wife sleeps on her stomach and prefers a mattress that's more firm, and that's why Bear matched us up with the elite hybrid mattress to benefit us both. After ordering, they shipped it right to our front door for free. Again, shipping is free in the US, and from there, all we had to do was unbox it, unroll it, and boom! Our sleep quality was instantly upgraded. It also helps knowing that Bear has a 120-night sleep trial, so you get more than 3 months to make sure that you love it. On top of that, they have a limited lifetime warranty and offer financing options and flexible payment plans. So if you want to upgrade your sleep, head to bearmattress.com/HBTC and use my code HBTC to get 40% off your Bear mattress. This is higher than what's being offered on site, so check it out while you can. All right, so when Jawaan Taylor spoke to the media today, he shared that he took a hit to the knee week 5, and it wasn't right the rest of the year. We kind of knew he was dealing with a knee issue, but didn't know to what extent it actually was until he talked with them today. Man, my respect for him definitely went up. Jawaan shared that he had to get that knee drained basically weekly just prior to the games, and he did his best to fight through what he described as a nagging injury. He tore his meniscus again. Well, at the end of the season, he got an MRI, and that revealed lots of wear and tear behind the kneecap, a partially torn meniscus that I just mentioned, and wear on his patella. He wasn't making excuses or anything like that, but he did say the injury impacted his play on the field. In spite of that, though, he had no intentions of getting that knee worked on during the season. He wanted to be out there every week with his teammates to help them win games. And that's why he waited until March to get his knee scoped, then got stem cell injections done in May. He spoke very highly of that process, by the way, and now he's looking forward to being healthy this season and give his best for the team. He also loves the additions that they brought into the offensive line room. You added Jalen Moore in free agency and Joshua Simmons in the draft, because the more talent they have along the line to protect Mahomes, the better. And you know what? This O-line is quite possibly about to be insane in regards to their ability to do just that for Mahomes. The only big question mark I have right now is Kingsley Suamataia, who obviously has never played guard before. You go from Joe Thuney, top 3, all-pro guard, to Kingsley. But other than that, you've got Simmons. Jalen Moore is an incredible swing tackle. At least that's how it's shaping up to be right now. And then Jawaan Taylor played through most of last season injured, and he's now getting healthy. I like that a lot because, again, if you protect Mahomes, you win Super Bowls, and it seems like they are going to be much better this season in the trenches than they were last. Andy Reid was actually asked about the offensive line battles going on, which is really just seems like it's between Jalen Moore and Jawaan Taylor, since Josh Simmons has been holding down the left side by himself. Well, Andy didn't bite. He said they feel like they need all of them. Quote, "We'll just see who the two are at the end when we get done with it." I would be pretty surprised, though, if Jawaan wasn't the starting right tackle week 1, unless he has a setback in that knee. But regardless, having Jalen Moore around is nothing but a good, quote-unquote, problem to have. The more depth, The more quality, the better, because injuries are going to happen, players are going to get banged up, and him being the next player up in the pecking order, incredible. Jalen Moore spoke with the media today, by the way, and when he was signed in free agency, they didn't have any discussions about O-line additions in the draft or anything like that, but he said, "This is football. Things happen." He did not seem bothered that he might not end up being the starter. He was a backup for his career in San Francisco, but he prepared diligently, and there were several times when he was needed out there on the field, including a multiple game stretch just last year. So his goal for right now is to study hard, practice hard, and if the team needs him inside or outside, he wants to be as prepared as possible for whatever is asked of him. And regarding Josh Simmons, Moore spoke pretty highly of him. He said he's strong, quick, and talented, overall a good football player, which that's great news for a first-round pick coming off of a patella tendon knee injury. And that's why the Simmons hype has been so strong. He's progressing ahead of schedule, and nobody expected him to be where he is right now. He's been consistent pretty much every single day, and he definitely has that dog-like mentality, even going at it with a couple of different people, Ashton Gillotte as well as Leo Chanel yesterday. Sure, he's not perfect, he's a rookie, he has things to work on. There's no secret, that's every single rookie on this roster. One of the most fun camp rivalries, though, has been the aforementioned Ashton Gillotte and Simmons going at it, because iron sharpens iron. There was a couple of 1v1 reps shared today, and Gillotte had some solid ones, including this quick spin move to the inside that honestly Simmons was not ready for. And that's why I love training camp. These guys make each other better, and these long, grueling, hot camp practices do help with that, even though today was a pretty mild day in comparison. Another rookie that's rising through the ranks and impressing early is the wideout Jalen Royals. He had 2 great catches in the end zone today, back to back. One of them was this great catch here with Brian Cook nearly airtight in coverage, and the fact that he was able to hang on to that and maintain possession was pretty impressive. Mahomes threw that ball basically perfectly as well. It wasn't the only pass he threw on a rope today either. I'll get to that in a second because the play of the day was an incredible play. But Royals spoke with the media today as well, and when asked about developing rapport with Mahomes and how that's gone for him so far, because it seemed great, Royals said the key has just been listening to what Mahomes has to say and doing what he says. In the meeting room as they study film, yes, but also after a play happens. For example, there are times when Mahomes will talk with Royals on the sideline and give him feedback to help him out even more the next go-round, and that's where Royals has benefited, learning not to make the same mistake twice, and based on coverages, he's just learning to think like Mahomes would and get open for his quarterback. Everything is quicker and hotter at camp, Royals added, compared to college, so just getting up to speed has been the toughest thing. By all accounts, though, Royals has been a very quick learner. Mahomes has said it, Juju Smith-Schuster, Matt Nagy, and even Andy Reid today as well. Big Red shared that he's doing a good job catching the ball well, he's strong, and the quarterbacks trust him, which is a big part of it, and that kind of speaks for itself, because if the quarterback develops trust in a receiver, they're going to keep looking his way and throwing him the ball because they know he will deliver. And so far, for the most part, Royals has been doing just that. Another receiver trying to make the most of his increased opportunities is Jason Brownlee, especially with Sky Moore and Hollywood Brown out, and he had arguably his best practice of all of camp today. Andy Reid said he had a couple of high balls today that were impressive that he caught, but he was being conservative there because I think Jason Brownlee high-pointed 4 of them. He had 2 standout high-pointed catches in the red zone today, but I believe 4 in total by the time practice ended. And while I don't think he's making the 53-man roster at this point in time, look at this catch he made back in 2023 at camp when he was with the Jets. I mean, holy smokes, this guy has been making plays. So I would love for him to land on the practice squad this year if they can sneak him on there. The offense wasn't the only ones having some standout plays today, though, to be clear. A tipped pass at the line caused a Mahomes pass to flutter, and Jaden Hicks hauled in an interception on this play here. Jaden Hicks and Rice were going at it a bit back and forth with their words after Hicks flew into Rice, and Rice didn't shy away from contact, even though the pads weren't on this play here. Rice even tossed him the ball. There was some jawing. I like that. Nothing wrong with a bit more competitive fire. Speaking of Rice, Mahomes targeted Rashee 8 times during team period today, with the next closest being Noah Gray with 3. Gray could be seen catching this one here for a touchdown on a crosser, and I always love to see Gray, who's having a very solid camp so far, making plays. There was also this play here where Worthy snagged a nicely placed ball from Pat in the middle of the field, and Worthy's going to be one of the go-to guys this season. That's for sure, building off that back half of his rookie season. And then again, Rice is going to be suspended, and you know Mahomes is going to look Worthy's way even more during that time. Now, let's get to the play of the day, because it was freaking awesome and featured Isaiah Pacheco, of all people, getting a little revenge on linebacker Jack Cochrane, who's working in more with Drew Tranquill sidelined. Now, earlier in practice, Cochrane had a nice punch out here on Pacheco, and even though it did go out of bounds, that's some positive stuff you love to see from the defense. Well, a bit later, this ended up happening. Mahomes saw Cochrane in coverage on Pacheco, and he liked that matchup, probably partially because of Pacheco's speed, and so he waited a second and uncorked this ball down the right sideline 50 yards, perfectly placed, with Isaiah Pacheco plucking it out of the air, maintaining possession, and the result was touchdown Kansas City. That was not expected for a pass that deep to go to Isaiah Pacheco and him haul it in like that. I don't care if the pads were on or not. That was impressive as hell. What a grab by Pacheco, and a pinpoint accurate throw there from Patrick. He's been very precise for most of camp, which isn't really a surprise considering he is QB1 of the league. But hey, let me know your thoughts on today's practice and how you feel about the Chiefs, given all that's taken place so far at camp. The O-line getting better. Key players are rising, sharpening their skill set, and just learning the playbook even more, especially the young guys. And Mahomes is out there playing lights out. I don't want to seem like a homer here, but who's going to stop the Kansas City Chiefs this year other than themselves? Let me know either way in the comments down below. And until next time, let's go. Let's freaking go. How about those?